So I've been poring over a lot of David Grusch interviews recently because I've been working on a fairly long video that will likely publish tomorrow. And I just wanted to spontaneously get behind the camera and discuss David Grusch for a little bit. I think his allegations are very compelling, partially because he doesn't strike me as a fantasist, a liar, someone who's in this for the limelight or because they're bored with life. He strikes me as someone extremely sincere who believes in what he's saying and believes that a profound injustice is occurring in the world. So that alone is pretty compelling. And then you couple that with other people that have come forward corroborating what he has stated, such as former Colonel Carl Nell, former Rear Admiral Timothy Gallaudet. He was also the head of NOAA. Couple that with one of the directors of ALSAP, Jim Lakatsky. Couple that with Jonathan Gray. That's the name he has for the agency that he works for, NASIC, National Air and Space Intelligence Center. If you believe that reporting, I personally don't think Tim McMillan is not being accurate in that reporting. But then it's not just recent history that corroborates what David Grusch is saying. Many people have come forward over the decades saying there is a crash retrieval program and that non-human artifacts have been recovered. So this idea that it's somehow intellectually grounded to just assume that it must be a psyop or it must be a social contagion is something I just don't buy into. Just because you have the opinion that those potentialities are far more likely has nothing to do with science as far as I can tell. Has nothing to do with objectivity. Indeed, isn't there an investigation going on right now into Grusch's allegations? So the onus is not on me. It's not on the skeptic to set the record straight. That would be ridiculous. The onus, as I see it, is on the United States government's hands to set the record straight. He went to the Department of Defense Inspector General, where he reported that he was receiving reprisals. And then he went to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, where he reported that there is a UFO crash retrieval program that is not being reported to Congress. And now we recently discovered through a FOIA drop by John Greenwald from within an interaction on Signal that it appears that the Department of Justice has gotten involved. So as much as some people seem so adamant that this narrative is not falsifiable, I would say, how do you figure? There's potentially 3 different entities investigating Grusch's claims right now. I don't know. If there's 3 different entities, the Department of Defense Inspector General, the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and the Department of Justice, why would the United States government not put this to rest? Particularly when someone like David Grusch fuels the flames of conspiratorial thinking and gives people like me a platform to discuss this issue with more credibility. I don't know. These were just some quick thoughts. And I just wanted to get some quick thoughts because I haven't released a video in so long. I'm likely going to release a big video tomorrow. And I guess that really covers it. I guess I'll go ahead and share a quote since I wrote it down from Robert Powell's new book titled UFOs, A Scientist Explains What We Know and Don't Know. And I quote, "If there were just a few of these reports, then it would be easier to dismiss them as pilot error. ball lightning, or the phenomenon known as St. Elmo's fire. But with over 100 documented reports, and likely many more undocumented reports, the evidence argues for an investigation into what the pilots were seeing. He's referencing Foo Fighters during World War II. And he's using a simple logic. If it was a very small minority that saw these Foo Fighters, we could dismiss it, right? But with 100 documented cases, it's really not intellectually grounded to dismiss it. And it requires, indeed, it demands further investigation. Well, I would make that same argument for the allegations of a crash retrieval program that's not being reported to Congress. There's been way too many people giving it credence, including the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. So people who just want to, say, well, it's almost certain that this is all a psyop or a social contagion or a combination of two, I just think are deluding themselves. The universe can indeed be a lot weirder and unexpected than we assume. It reserves that right. It reserves that right. Anyways, I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you some other time.